Okay, good day colleagues. I hope you're all doing well. We're going to have a short video today about creating assessments using Google Classroom. Now, of course, we automatically would know that you would have to have a Google account and attach that Google account a Google Classroom setup, which is pretty simple. Anyone who has a Google account can set up a Google Classroom, right? So when you set up a Google Classroom, for example, mine, all right, you have a Google Classroom here, and then what happens is that you have a classwork section. Now under the classwork section you'll have this option, nice big button, big link here with a plus sign saying create. If you're using an app such as for a mobile device, tablet or phone, I think that plus sign at the bottom right hand corner, there's slight difference, slight variance in the interface, but I think once you know it on a PC, like here I'm using my laptop or desktop machine, you will be able to figure your way around. All right, so click on create. You have a few options, and then you have quiz assessment. That's different from assignment. Quiz assessment is what we're looking at. So quiz assessment, click on that option, and then you will type in whatever quiz you're doing. So I am living in Ocho Rios, for example. So let us make this Ocho Rios test or quiz. Yeah, quiz sound a little bit better. Test sound kind of burdensome maybe to a student who is not so comfortable with testing. So let us call it Ocho Rios quiz. Let us see what you know about Ocho Rios. So complete, these are the instructions on the instructions area, which is optional. You put in the instructions, and you might put in a few more times at different areas, but I like to give as or repeat the instructions as many times as possible, because we know that students sometimes tend to overlook instructions. So you want to put it as many places that they can see, and as a result hopefully don't miss the instructions. Complete all questions in this, let us say, two section quiz. Yeah, quiz. All right, after we're finished with that, now you notice you can bold, italize. There are certain formatting features you can do with the instructions here. Once you can use Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or any word processor, that is same process, similar thing. For example, let's go a bit here and let us insert one. For example, bullets. All right, do sections A and B, for example. Another question section would be section A, multiple choice. Section B, fill in the blanks. So let's say those are just a few instructions you could put there, and you can bold one. You know, those are the simple things you can do along the way, right? But here is where we start to set up the quiz. Really, when we click on blank quiz here, it's where we go now to set up the test. So I prefer that you kind of name the quiz here, or I can even name it here. Let's call it Ocho Rios test or quiz on Ocho Rios. And then we can put in description as well. You can put in end of month test. And if you notice, after a few minutes, all right, you will see it going to the option of saying saving here. The changes that we make are saved automatically, and just change this name here. So when we want to look for it in Google Drive a little bit later, we can find it easily. So let's call it Ocho Rios quiz. All right, not paying attention to any uppercase, lowercase options here. End of month test, and start typing in the first question here now. Let us say the first question will be untitled question. Click at that area and you can change the question right there. Which parish is Ocherios located? Alright. Alright, which parish is Ocherios located? Right, sounds kind of weird, but the main focus here is not so much the grammar structure right now, it's just the rules of setting up the test. I'm primarily focused on that, so I'm running that through my brain at all times. So we come over here and we choose whichever options that we want. Multiple choice, short answer, paragraph. We can choose several different options, but for now we're doing multiple choice. Alright, so we make that option remain. Ocherios has a few parish, Jamaica has a few parishes. So let's go, for example, St. Anne. You can press enter, then you can say St. Mary. Alright, and then let's say St. Elizabeth. And let's work with the saints here, and then St. Thomas. Alright, so these are the parishes that we are going to focus on. So where is Ocherios? Alright, which parish is located in? So we type the question in, then we are going to now choose which answer we want to be selected. Which one of these four options are the answers? So answer key, we select that option, that link, and then we choose St. Anne. And then we click this option here that selects the amount of points we want to be awarded when you answer correctly this particular question. Then we select done. So the answer is St. Anne, see it noted there with a green tick, and would have gone to answer key to select that option, the points awarded and the parish that is the appropriate answer. Now there are some other buttons down here. This garbage can thing, if you look at it carefully, the screen tip, when you point on it, should say delete, copy or duplicate, and this option that says required. Now I like to select this because when we're doing an assessment, I want to force the children, especially multiple choice, to answer every question, even if you have to guess. So I turn that toggle on. Required now turns purple. Alright, and then this option here makes it a little bit harder for students to cheat. You want to describe and have a description for the question, or you want to shuffle the option order. Alright, or if you want to go to a section, another section based upon your answer. Alright, but this is something I don't really use that much, nor descriptions. So shuffle option order is one that you can actually use just in case you want to make it a little bit harder for students to collaborate on an assessment. Alright, so let's go to another question. Now another option that we have, we can click the plus sign here for another question, but I kind of want to do more with this question structure and this option here. So let me select duplicate. So every property that I selected is required, shuffling option order, and the answer key have now been duplicated from this question. So I'll have to make the adjustment at some point in time. Which parish is Ocherios located? Let us say now we're going to change this. Which county? Alright, which county? Alright, is Ocherios located in? So Ocherios located, fine. Now then we can change this. We can put in now, let us say Cornwall, caps, Cornwall, and then let me remove some of these because I'll just click on the X here to remove some of these options, and then I'll say Middlesex, and then Surrey, and then let us say now, give an example, let's say Jamaica, just in case. Alright, and using capital letters here. Alright, so these are the four options for the question, and if you notice, the first option is still selected. So now I have to go to the answer key and change this. So I can click Middlesex, remove Cornwall, still 1 point, and I select done. Alright, it will still be an option where you shuffle the option order. Alright, and that's that. Now if you want to do another question from scratch, we click this plus sign here, and now what is the meaning Alright, what is the meaning of the word or the term or the words Ocho Rios? Alright, anybody who lives in Ocho Rios should know this. Alright, especially or even in Jamaica as a whole. What is the meaning of Ocho Rios? So then now let's look at our options. It means, let's say, beautiful rivers, French Riviera. I hope that's how Riviera is spelled. Alright. And what else now? Let us say, yeah, the famous option, third option. Alright, 8 rivers. 8 rivers. And now let us select this one. Place of rivers. Alright. So these are our options for this next question, and now we have to go and make the adjustments with the answer key. Answer key, notice is set to 120 marks by default. We're putting 1, so let's press 1 on the keyboard. And 8 rivers is the answer, and I select done. And that is basically it. That's basically a general idea of how we can set multiple choice questions. We can also move a question around. For example, I want this question to be third on the list. I hold on to these buttons right here. There are 6 dots right there, layered like parallel lines almost above each other. You pull that handle and pull it down here, and now this is the third question. Right, so these are the various things you can do. However, if you're going to choose an option that says select, shuffle the question order, not option order, but later when we're going to present the quiz, there are some options that we can select from. You know, the quiz is presented to our participants. We'll look at that a little bit later. So these are 3 multiple choice questions. Alright, now let's say we want to have another section for short answer. We can use this button here where we said add section. Alright, so those are the main points here, because you have others that you can do. For example, here you can import questions, you can add title and descriptions, you can add images, although I don't usually use this button when I'm adding images or adding links and videos, particularly from YouTube. Alright, and this to add sections. So I would prefer this. For example, let us say that I'm going to add a section here. Let me add the section first. Fill in the blanks. In the blanks. And here, use the most appropriate term to answer the questions. Alright, forgive me colleagues, I'm not really paying attention much, as I said before, to the normal constructs of assessments. I'm not teaching assessments. My focus right now is on just giving you an idea how to use Google Classroom. Alright, now let's click on this plus sign. We add another question, not multiple choice this time, but short answer. Now let us use this. Now instead of using this button for image, I normally would use this one, but I want to get an image first from somewhere. So let me go here. I want to get an image of Ocho Rios. Alright, image of Ocho Rios, or pictures of Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Alright, cool. Now let me see what pictures we can look at now. Alrighty then. I'm looking at some pictures. I think I'm familiar with this picture. Let me see. Alright, that picture, let me see. I want to make sure. Yeah. Alright. So let me save this picture now, for example. Right click, save image, and I'll put this to my desktop, so then I can just save Ocho Rios. Ocho Rios. Alright, so I want to include this image on my assessment. So I go here now, click on this image button, and I'm going to go to my desktop and get this image. Alright, so I was there already. So Ocho Rios, here it is. Click on it, select open, and now this image is going to be a part of my assessment. I can even resize it if I want. Click on the image and I can adjust the size by preferably the toggles at the corner or the edges of the picture. I can just point on it and then pull in. And then my question would be, which beach is this? Alright, short answer. Now the thing with the short answer that I would have to do in the answer key, I have to now make some adjustments. 1 mark, and here's a problem now. For the correct answer, I would have to do this. I could say Ocho Rios. That's what students may spell it. But then, what if they spell it all in lowercase? I have to put Ocho Rios. And if they spell it all in uppercase, I have to type Ocho Rios again. I now have to make adjustments for the different ways in which a student may spell Ocho Rios. And unfortunately, what you may find is that some person may spell it with more spaces there. Let's just say I just have 1 space between each term here. So those are the problems that one may run into. That is why usually when I'm setting these questions, I would make sure I type this in the instruction that say use only lowercase when typing your answers. So it minimizes the possibility of the variance in answers our students may enter the answers for the questions. So this will be ruled out, and we have Ocho Rios starting with a capital O, capital R, and they have all uppercase Ocho Rios. So you'd make allowance by saying, okay, type your answers all in lowercase. So you'd put something like that in the instructions. That's what I normally would do. Alright, let us say now, for example, let's add 1 more question. Alright, 5 questions, 3 multiple choice, 2 short answers. Alright, so let's go again now. What is another question? Let us say I want to add something else. I want to add a video. So YouTube, let's say Ocho Rios. Something about Ocho Rios assessment, so let's also keep it there. Alright, I was going to pick on the first random video I see. Alright, 10 exciting places you must see in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Alright, so what I'll do, right, is that I'll click on that and then select. So then now this video will be located in the question as an option. So then now I can go and I type, for example, okay, name the places located in this video. Yes. Alright, so strangely enough they'll list the places, but I want you to actually list the places or so on as a question. Name the places located in this video, and then here the questions are. So here it is now. This is related to the question above here. That's what is related to, right? So, or let me put it here. I'll highlight that, Control C, and I'll place this here as a question, Control V. Alright, so I'll put the answer key. Let us say 10 places, so it's 10. Alright, and then now for the correct answers, I may put, for example, you can bet Dunn's River is going to be there, yeah? So we can put Dunn's River, but I encourage every teacher to make sure you watch when you're going to put a video in for any kind of assessment or tutorial or anything like that. I'd encourage every teacher to watch that video very carefully through to the end, even multiple times. Alright, so that we are familiar, make sure we're familiar as to the possible options student may give. So you have Dunn's River, and I can bet you're going to have Fern Gully again. paying attention to the rule. We're saying type in lowercase, so we have Fern Gully. All of those options we'll put in, and then that is that. Select done, and that is our assessment working with multiple choice fill in the blanks. Other assessments may involve more interaction from the teacher in terms of going through to mark to the questions. So there are a few things we can look at here before we send or submit a question, submit an assessment. Click on the gear cog up there, and then you can say collect email addresses. For teachers using the MOE portal, this would make sense, because if a student does not, it would help you to give an account for who actually did the test. Alright, that's one. Limit to one response if you only want to give the students one chance to answer each question, or answer the whole test. That's one possibility that you want to make sure you select this option, limit to one response. Presentation, show progress bars, so the students can see how far along they are in the assessment. That's what I like to use that too. Shuffle option or question order. So what is question number 1 for one student, maybe question number 10 for another, and vice versa, and so on. The questions are shuffled. And quizzes here now. Alright, now here's something that you really want to pay attention to. Alright, respondents can see missed questions is good, correct answers maybe not. Point values, yes, you would probably want to do that as well. And then you want to go back through, make sure all your options are there, and confirmation message. So when the person's finished their test, you might want to put this in: congratulations on completing this quiz. Alright, and the general oh, collect email address, response receipts, you may want to give that as well. Alright, so this is to validate that someone actually did the test. So just in case something happens, a student can say, Miss, I did the test, or Sir, I did the test. Here is a copy of my receipt. Alright, and I would select always as well. But it's good to go through and make sure you select these options as you need them, because you would want to make sure your students have the necessary functionalities and reduce the possibility of cheating. For example, here, when they can see the correct answers afterwards under the quizzes tab. So you want to reduce the possibility of that happening, as well as editing after they submit. It is up to you, the teacher, to decide. Then you save that option, and then you're basically finished with your quiz. Alright, so you're basically finished. All you have to do now, you can close the tabs as they are, then you can simply click assign, and you assign it, it will be assigned to all those students. But there's something else you may want to look at here: all students. When you click on all students, you can remove this checkbox here with all students, and then you can assign to certain specific students that you may want to assign the quiz to, if you don't want to assign it to your whole class. Alright, so those are options you can look at. When you click assign, the test will be available to all the students, and of course you can select due date, when the students will have to complete the test by this particular point in time, date and time. So all of those are options that you can play around with and see how they work for you, and assign your quiz accordingly. Okay, colleagues, that is it for this tutorial. Have a good day.